Hello, everyone. Let me just turn this music for me. How are we all doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Oh, I turned it down too much. Today we're going to work on Loco. We're going to do some game development, hopefully a bit more chill. Let me know if you can hear me and how everything else is going. Let me know how your day's gone so far today. Oh yes, now chat's coming through. Welcome everyone. If you want to stay with the stream a bit more, refresh your browser, and then you'll probably update and see the newer live stream part, hopefully. I might need to change settings in the future so that we're a bit more instant. We're not as delayed. So hello Dan, Sam, Cubanite, Kiernan, Jake, hello. Hello, Colin. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let me just adjust some screens here. I've also got food in front of me. I made some chicken nuggets, and they've got some ketchup on them. So I'm going to be snacking on these as well during stream. But now it's time to launch Unreal Engine. And I'm going to be looking over here. It's funny, too. The lighting's been a bit different compared to last time, because last time I was streaming at night. Where now I'm streaming during the day and the sun is blasting through the windows and not even my studio lights can kind of match it. But I think it's okay. So I'm going to quickly... I need to change so that Coca-Cola goes on this other screen that you guys can see too. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions while we get started. Yes, Dan, today, I mean, there's a few things I'd like to get done. We'll see how far we actually go with all that. But I've got a few coming into chat now. But yeah, Dan, I'll show you what we're going to be working on very shortly. Kinnan asks or says, I like the Pokemon shirt. Thank you. How could you tell? I thought I was down here. But yes, it's the grass type Pokemon shirt. We have all the Pokemons. I love it. I love grass type. Grass type's the best type. Okay, cool. And then Jake says, new here, can you briefly describe your game? I'll get to that in a moment, but firstly, I was going to ask or answer Jason's question. Jason asked, okay, Nathan, what part of Australia are you in? There's a YouTuber in Australia. How's a lawyer, Hayden, aka Aussie Overlord? And if you're into a Gundam, check him out. I'm in Victoria, so more further south. We're right next to or above Tasmania. But I haven't heard of that YouTuber. I have to look him up. And Dan, did I get your email? Probably yes. Probably won't be doing emails today. But I've gotten a few that will probably... Coco, welcome. I'll probably do another stream later when I have a bigger chunk of emails we can kind of go through, do another game ideas stream, because that one was really fun, and I think people really enjoyed that. It'd be fun if you could all, like, maybe make videos or make it a bit more presentable so that we can watch one stream together. I think that'd be really fun to do. But on to the game. Woohoo! Here we are. Am I too big, or do I need to be smaller? How's that? I think that's okay. That should be all right, right? Jason says Hayden's in Melbourne as well. Okay, I'll give him a look and see. So, what we have so far, we have a few scenes. Man, this music's so loud for me, though. I'm going to turn it down for me. Can hardly hear myself. Cohen asks, I don't really have any good questions, but what's your background with C++? This has been the biggest hurdle for me getting into game dev. Same. I have hardly learned any C++. I've been putting it off for so long. Part of me is... I've done a few small projects in Visual Studio with C++, and that's just been making like a window and a hello world and text-like stuff. But in terms of actually like doing more advanced things or even doing anything in Unreal with it, I have not touched it. Every time I've tried to make a C++ script or something in Unreal, I end up just doing blueprints because it's not working for me. But I will probably have to do a few things in C++ in the not too distant future with Loco, and then the aim of the game is to not the game, but of my game in terms of my career, is to get better at C++ with each project, and then hopefully get to a point where I'm comfortable writing it more and then just using blueprints as like a design tool rather than, building the whole backbone off of blueprints. Not to say you can't do that, just to, I know programmers who are good at C++ prefer that. And I personally prefer typing as well rather than clicking, and blueprints can get very messy very quickly. To keep mine quite clean and organized, but I feel like especially when I get into more advanced games, C++ is such a useful tool that I personally know that I would enjoy, that I want to use it and not just depend on blueprints. Again, not to say that blueprints are bad or anything. If people want to, they can make entire games with blueprints. I'm probably going to do that a lot as well. But C++ is just... it's a way of working that I want to learn. So that's what I'm going to do. Hello, Squid Beats. Dan asks, how are you going to get the music for your game? I've talked to a few people. One person I've been in contact with, I met at a games conference last year. I haven't heard back from them in a while. I'll probably reach out to them again when I have like a playable demo and see if they want to do some tracks for me. If not, I've had quite a few people reach out for music. But aside from that, it's one of those things where I think once I have more inspiration to give them in terms of the gameplay and the story, it's a lot easier for them to fill in the gaps than it is for me to give them a concept and then for them to make a track and then me try to work around that track. That's been my experience thus far anyways, in terms of music. So if you know anyone who wants to do music, let me know. Because music's the one thing I cannot do. I can learn 3D art, I can teach myself 2D, I can program, I have the discipline and patience to learn everything but music. Music is the one thing that I get too frustrated too quickly on, and it is something that I would probably have to take a break from everything else to learn how to compose game music, because for me, I don't know, it's just something that doesn't click as easily for me, and it's something I have to really, really work on to get good at. So it's another thing I just have to try and get good at. Squidbeats asks, is it worth to go to a games conference for Oz for a learning level designer? Games conferences, especially for me last year starting out, I didn't get much from the conferences themselves. It was more the people who were attending them. So some of them that I went to were super advanced for me. Like we're talking about threads of a CPU and how to optimize them for system runtime and all this sort of stuff. I was like, okay, I'm not at this level right now, but the people there, you know, are ones who work at Sledgehammer, who make Call of Duty. There's a few bigger local studios like Playside, and they do a lot of existing IP, and then their studio's grown because of that. Oh, we got a super chat. Hey, the super chat thing didn't go off. Maybe it did. I didn't see it. but Andreas said, looking forward to seeing the game progress. Sorry, I need to take a drink. Let me try that again. It's very cold here in Melbourne. It's freezing this morning, and so I'm a bit nasally just from the temperature. But Andres, for $5 Canadian, said, looking forward to seeing the game progress. Thank you. I'm really annoyed that the super chat did not work. I tried hiding it, then asked me to sign in. So we're going to quickly go to properties and see. Oh, I have to. Sorry, guys, just fixing an OBS thing. There we go. And is it Andre, the one who did the super chat? Am I saying that right? Because I know there's the Z-E-J. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. But yes, Andre, thank you for coming to the stream. Hopefully this is your vibe and you can enjoy it more. Oh, the postie outside. The postman's putting stuff in our mailbox. I wonder if it's for me and my wife, because we redirected our post now to here. Anyways, but yes, thank you for watching me on previous channels. But hopefully you can enjoy it here as well. I'm trying to make a more relaxed environment, but also kind of me front and center, talk about my games and my passion, which is game development. So if you like that, that's Polish. Just say Andrew? Okay, great. I can work with that. Well, that's the thing, because like, I lived in Hungary for 2 years, and I know a lot of the names there I can say quite easily now because I know their alphabet. But, you know, even now I'll slip into it sometimes. Like their S's are just CH's for us. So like sport is sport. And sometimes because I was doing it for 2 years, I slip back into it. Message from my wife. Let me just respond to it. Yeah, damn, Budapest is beautiful. But even just the countryside, like the smaller cities, Veszprém is my favorite place. I mean, the most beautiful place that I lived in for a time. There's also people and friends I have in different areas in Hungary, but Budapest is beautiful, you know, Parliament. But Veszprém. It's hard to try and say it in a more English-speaking accent, but then I'm like, you say Veszprém. But anyways, that's my... I'll show you a picture, actually. It's just very beautiful because there's lots of red rooftops and houses in green shrubbery. Let's see if I can find a really good picture. So this is how it looks. Like imagine a more saturated picture like this. Yeah, this one's good. Like just blue skies, red roof, red and yellow, like yellow brick's really popular there. Green, and like in the spring and autumn when the colors are very vibrant, it's a very beautiful place. I love Veszprém. And lots of rich history too. Like this is a popular lookout because I forgot the history exactly, but they've got like one of the old queen's bones or saints or something stored in the church in here. And there's a giant walkway out that you can go see the grave. And there's just these random cliff sides of these houses being like built all around. And so when you're like at this lookout point here and you're just looking across around, you see all the red rooftops and the white and yellow brick buildings with the trees everywhere. It's like, oh, stunning, beautiful. Like it looks like that. That is probably quintessential what I'm thinking of in my head. Like very pretty. But anyway, I digress. Kira says, I too have been hungry before. Yeah, thank you. No one ever uses that joke. Ever. Yes, Jake, I did. And Dan says, I love the architecture of Central Europe. I do too. It's very interesting because Hungary is a very small country. It's about the same size of the state in Australia, which I live in, which is Victoria. Same sizes, but one is a state of a country and one is an entire country. And part of that country has been like taken during world wars. And so there's Hungary, which is Magyarország, and there's Big Hungary, which is Nagy Magyarország, and it's part of Austria and other parts of different countries which were taken during, I think it was World War One or World War Two, after they lost the war because they were on the, other side. And so there's old people who are like, yes, one day we're going to get the land back. And I'm like, guys, they don't speak Hungarian. You're not going to get that land back. And just after a period of time, I don't want to get into anything political, but yeah, places and property and things change over time, and that's just the nature of things. And yeah, generations have less commitment to previous generations. Jason says, I haven't played a game system since the N64 in 2000. What system should I try to get back into games? My sensor tried to get me to play Xbox. It's too complicated for me. Any suggestions? That depends, Jason. I think if you want something... Like, what experiences are you looking for? What games do you like to play? Do you want to play on the go? Do you prefer sitting on the couch? Do you want to be at a desk? Like me personally, for me, the ultimate gaming experience is on PC with my friends. That's the best time I've had in my life, was playing online, playing Minecraft together. We played a lot of that during our years growing up. But as well, occasionally when a really good game comes out, I will get that on console and sit on the couch and play it. I think one of the best entry ways, though, has actually been the Switch. And I know they're going to come out with a new console next year, but that means now more than ever, like, Switch Lites are super cheap. You can even get like older models of Switches. Like, they're everywhere. They're all available. They're the biggest catalog of games, whether you do want to do it physical or digital. And there's so many games there. And they've got the old classic games that you like as well. So if you want to go back, you can go back and play those games and then realize, no offense, how bad they were, and then go and play the remasters or, the inspirations that have made these newer games. And then I think that will get you back into gaming if you want to get into it. Because, like, do you like shooting things? Do you like farming? Do you want something more relaxed, something more high intensity? Obviously, you haven't played games for a while. And so I would actually suggest a lot of Nintendo games are quite good for that, because although they're made for kids, I think the one thing I like about them is that they have really good fail structures. So if you can't pass the level, can't get past a certain point, it isn't as frustrating. Like, you'll just fall off a platform, or they'll have tips and helps. Like, some of the games I've been playing with my wife recently has been the recent Kirby game. If you want to play co-op games, that's also a really good way to get into it, especially if you've got family who play games. Like, I love playing Portal 2 with people who also like playing Portal. I've tried to get my wife to play it, but she's kind of too scared of it because it's all very dystopian and kind of weird and very cold, where she's more like wholesome, happy, feel good. But Portal 2 is a great co-op game. There's a heap of co-op games if you want to try and get into them. It Takes Two is a good one I've been playing through recently. And even just playing games like Stardew Valley. Oh, wow. Oh, I feel so bad for getting the name of this game. It's made by a New Zealand indie studio. About... what's it called? It's not Drift. It's the fishing game. Chat, what's the game called again? I forgot. Dredge. Oh, I didn't type in. Dredge is a fantastic game. And it's about a fishing boat. Oh. Your little fishing boat. And the area's kind of haunted and there's sea monsters, but you go out and you fish, you upgrade your boat, you do quests for people. It's a really fun, relaxing, but also kind of stress-inducing. I played this during my New Year's Christmas break. Went to my family's beach house, and I just sat on the couch and played this by the ocean for a bit, and it was great. So I would also... Because everything that's dangerous that happens in this game is by your own choice. Like, you go to the dangerous areas. If you want to, you can just chill and fish and go places and stuff. But yeah. We tried Goat Simulator and it sucked. And I mean, it's really hard because there's so many games and there's so many different genres, and what you might think sucks doesn't mean every game in the world sucks. It just means that it's just not the game for you. There's other games. There's so many games. If you're looking for something more chill, I don't know, man. There's so many games. I mean, I love so many different games. So I need more of your interests and kind of your style of playing to actually recommend you a game. But I think the Switch is a great way for you just to go through the catalog. Go to I don't know where you're based, but for us here in Australia, we've got EB Games, which is GameStop, and you just go to the discount section and just look through all the cheap games that you might want to try and get a few. And yeah. But no, Jason, I reckon... can get a Switch, get some games that are not high intensity, so ones that take time and thought to complete. So things like Untitled Goose Game, that's a really fun game, and it's also got co-op now. That's a good game. Untitled Goose Game is probably one of my top 10 games of all time, just a masterclass of what makes a good game. Stardew Valley is a fun farming one that, you farm, you talk with people. I haven't gotten that into it. People are a lot more intense than me with Stardew Valley. Even playing games like Pokemon, the newer ones, my wife loves Pokemon. And as long as you get the right Pokemon for whatever type, it's very fun to play. Yeah, Squid Beat's the new Zelda game, where Zelda is the main character. I'm very interested to see that, because at first I was kind of concerned they're going to just, have the same mechanics. But when they're like, oh no, it's different, that was very exciting to me. I love it when Nintendo experiments with new ideas, because that's how we get things like Mario Galaxy and Odyssey. And I mean, a lot of the Mario games are very experimental. But even when you think of Breath of the Wild and how different that was from previous Zelda games, when they say, hey, we've got new mechanics, but also having some familiar things like how with the art style, I'm very keen to see how that game is. It looks very, very interesting. I also, right now, recently, I've been playing more of the classics. I feel like I just need to like main cam it for a little bit because we're still chatting. Like I've been playing, or I play when I just want to. Age of Empires 2. I have a whole bunch of old Xbox games, like original Xbox 360, Xbox One, and I got a disc drive recently in the hopes that I can emulate some of the older games on my PC, or everything else is in storage. But yeah, you look at the Switch, find some bundles of games, get some recommendations, and yeah, just if you want, look for games that don't have immediate fail state. So don't play Dark Souls or Elden Ring or any of those ones that have very much like a you lost. But look for ones where they have. I'm trying to think of the way to explain it, but like just because you fail doesn't mean it's game over for you. Like they let you retry over and over. It's a game that I actually want to try making is one that's like there's no game over screen. It's like Untitled Goose Game is the best example of this. When you fail a segment, you don't actually fail. It just resets it for you to try again, which I think is such clever game design, and it's not as defeatist as a lot of other common games are we've had for years. So weird. Chat, I found a bug. I pressed a button and then it did that. Thank you, Andre. Or Andrew, sorry. In my hairline view, that's what you get with this one. If I press it again. That's odd. I have to just do the option manually then. Mr. Mustachio, welcome. Welcome. So we haven't actually done anything in the game yet. I've been chatting with chat, which has been fun. Everything's going well. Yeah, look, the nuggets are kind of cold now because we've been chatting, but they look nice and crisp, don't they? But let me show you the game we have so far. Okay. Main screen. Main screen, very early days. No settings yet. Exit, I think, technically works, but obviously because we're in the engine, it doesn't work. Hit play. Loading screen. We get the day, the goal of how much we want to make. And we have a little Zoe character who is a work in progress. Has no face because I'm still working on that. I'm currently working on re-rigging her because, as you can see, these animations, they're from a website called Mixamo, which is where... Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, minus, I'm so sorry. Minus, I have not played Infection-Free Zone. That's cool. The house apartment you're in right now is in the game's... wow. It reads Google Maps during the game map. That's funny, though, because if I go on maps for this place here, because it's been recently built, there's nothing here. So I wonder if it's just grass. Mr. Mustachio asks, any reason why? Simply because it's easy to get a skybox with clouds, and yeah, than anything else. I would like to have a better background, but for now, that's just the easiest, simplest thing to do. G2 Bryce says he can only read Australian, not English. You're damn right about that. Anyways, so we're playing the game, and the NPCs aren't coming. Is there a reason why? They're all stuck here. Chat, the nav mesh isn't working again. Why is this happen? Oh, you know what? I reckon it's because of this wall. Maybe we'll have to fix that. Okay, well, anyways, it's meant to then go to an end screen, which I'm just going to have to open myself. Why is it? Goodness. This keyboard is not cooperating. So open this one. Then the results show at the end your profit, your loss, and then gives you the total. And then you can go to upgrades, which haven't been done yet. Go back to my menu. Oh yeah, let me move my face. So upgrades, which haven't been done yet, or next day, which just loads in a new level again. So that's what we have so far, and we're trying to polish that up so it can be as presentable as possible. And then we can start doing some playtests. Dan, why do you think this game will be great to play on Easter? I'm curious. I hope it's okay. Why is the nav mesh not being... This is so weird. There we go. I don't know why that nav mesh wasn't being built. All right, let's try this again. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller so it's easier for me to manage. There we go. Okay, so Dan says it's because of chocolate. Always associate Easter with chocolate and coziness. Okay, that's fair enough. That's just my life in general. And for some reason, the NPC's been getting stuck on this table here as well. That's a weird thing I have to fix. So we can give them drinks and they'll line up. But for some reason, this guy's getting stuck on the table. So I'm going to have to figure out... I mean, I see why, but I still don't know why, you know? Maybe we're going to make this base a bit bigger. Let's try that, shall we? Den asks, will it be a game with a beginning, middle, and end? Will it have a sandbox mode and so on? So the plan for right now is to have oh, good, it worked. Is to have a beginning, middle, and end. And then either as post-game free DLC or something, I'll have like an endless mode or something. Where, yeah, depending on what happens, I'll probably just either make a very simple, like a high score type thing where you just serve drinks infinitely. And then again, depending on the success, if people really love it and enjoy it. But now people aren't going to the tables. Ah, chat, why is this stuff not working? It was working last time I used it, and now it's not. Oh, this is fantastic. I love it when this happens on stream too, so now I have to debug for all the stream. Yeah. And so it will either be just a free endless mode type thing, or it could be co-op or something like that. All depends on how I value the success of Coco Loco. Mr. Mustachio says, did you know if you say the individual letters R and R in order, it sounds like, oh no, in Australian accent. R and R. R and R. You're right. Dan has also said, developing a game is so much work. Kudos to you for dedicating yourself to it. Thank you. It's been 3 years, and I've started in 2 engines now, so hopefully we can get this finished sooner or later. Colin also asked, will there be different drinks to serve? Example, or i.e. latte, cappuccino, etc. Yes, there will be different drinks, but this game isn't going to have any sort of caffeinated beverages because it's cocoa. So we're going to have iced chocolates and strawberry milk and caramel goodness. No lattes or cappuccinos or coffees or espressos, anything like that. But lots of chocolatey drinks and kind of other things that like kids can have as well. Because that's one thing I was kind of upset. And I mean, now because of my religion, I don't drink any sort of coffee related drinks. But I look at some of these drinks, I'm like, man, it looks so good, but I can't have it. And even as like, you know, kids as well, you don't want to be like, look at this double espresso shot macchiato, whatever they call it. And the kids are like, oh, it looks so delicious and frothy and yum. But they shouldn't have it because it's going to make them, you know, ping off the walls. So I want to make things that are look really good and delicious and something people can actually make at home with their kids. Exactly, Kian. A Mormon cafe. Kind of, but it's not going to be called that, and no one's going to actually know. But, you know, it's other people try to stay away. Like, coffee is such a, much like alcohol, it's such a staple in Western culture, but it isn't necessarily good for you. And I feel like a lot of people are addicted to it to the point where, like, I had a teacher in grade 6, and that's all he drank 24/7. And his teeth were, and this guy's like early 30s. He was very young. But his teeth were mangled and his breath stank because all the thing that man drank was just coffee. And it wasn't like iced coffee or anything. It was just plain, regular coffee. Like it wasn't anything special. That's all he would drink all day, every day. Thank you, Jason. Good luck and good job. Exactly, Dan. Like it's not to say I think it should be banned. People should have a choice. But I think as a culture, and for me personally, you know, it's very awkward going to events and places and people are like, oh, you want a coffee? And I'm like, nah. Like, again, it's okay. You guys can drink coffee. I'm not saying that it's, that you're bad people for drinking it. I'm just saying, isn't it interesting as a culture? Like in Australia, man, we have such big drinking cultures and everyone's freaking out now. Or the older generation's freaking out now because younger kids aren't going out and partying and getting drunk as much. And they're like, oh, these kids, they're so soft. And I was like, well, actually, they've just seen how you abuse the substance and they don't want to do that. They'll still drink with their friends. Like I've got a friend who, you know, he always have wine when he has friends over and, you know, it's very social for them, but they aren't abusing it as much as previous generations have. It's the same now. I think we have such a high expectation for workers that people just consume the only substance that they can. It's not even just coffee. It's like Red Bulls and energy drinks and all sorts of stuff. Like I've had some of that stuff in the past, and I'm just like, man, it just does not do well for me. But yeah. Exactly, Dan. So, like, I just want to make a game that I can make all the drinks that I see in this game in real life and have them, and that hopefully lots of kids who will play this, and my wife as well, who I'm making it for, can play and go, that drink looks delicious. I want to make that. And then it's like, hey, here's the recipe on how to make it. But then Conan asks, I actually asked, since I had an idea, I wasn't sure would apply. What about seasonal beverages, assuming you also had a system where the seasons rotate? Yeah, for now, the scope was kind of large and we really shrunk it down. So I think we can still have seasonal beverages, but in terms of how people unlock and use the drinks in the menu, we purely through their selection. So of course, make suggestions for different delicious beverages. But yeah. And G2 Bryce has also said, I'm definitely a coffee addict, but I don't think it's healthy. Corporations use it to increase productivity, but also the cost of worker health. Exactly. Like too much of one thing, like everything in moderation, really. I obviously abstain from it entirely from my religion, which Mr. Mustachio asked why isn't allowed. And basically, it's two reasons. One, because leadership has said so, and implying that also, my belief in God has also said, okay, here are all, like, this is the funny thing too. So this all comes from a bit of scripture called the Word of Wisdom, my religion of Latter-day Saints that we have. And it's funny because everyone focuses on, no, let me see if I can, no drinking alcohol, no having coffees and certain teas, no smoking tobacco or any sort of that stuff, but then everyone kind of ignores both within the religion, or no, that's not the right way to put it, but like, and then people tend to forget the other part, which is, eat meat sparingly, but, still use meat because meat is being given to you by God to consume and have. Eat plenty of grains, have plenty of water. Like, basically, it's saying, live a good lifestyle. Here's some words of wisdom. Take care of yourself. And as a part of that, in terms of the doctrine of the church that I believe in and belong to, we've had kind of health guidelines to help us stay away from certain things. And it's there's the physical side of it, which is gives you more free agency in terms of not being addicted to substances and is better for your health. But there's also the spiritual side of it of being addicted to things or consuming certain things mutes your spirituality in a way. It's harder to, for example, that's why we don't drink, because it's very hard to feel the spirit and feel peace and promptings when you're off your face, is the most layman way of saying it. And so, there's two sides of it, and I could have a whole discussion about that, and people do. That's why there's missionaries that go and teach this stuff, so people are kind of aware of it all, the whole religion in general. But, a lot of, especially, like, I'm living in Melbourne, Australia, where the two cultures I had growing up were party, crazy drunk cultures who have goon bags, on clotheslines and, spin them around and then take drinking games basically at parties, or going to the city and having, their fancy coffees, and neither of those things I could participate in. And so this game came out for my love of hot chocolate, which I always loved growing up, and I still do to this day. I don't care if people, sometimes I'll be out and I'll get mocktails because I can actually drink them, and, they taste good, but then people will call me out on them because they're like, oh, that's a girl's drink, or that's a little kid's drink. Or it's like, yeah, but, lifestyle choices here. And so I want to make a game where that isn't so much in question, because I know there's other people out there who don't drink those drinks and don't want to expose their kids that drink, because imagine you're playing games, these double espressos, and there's like a 6-year-old who's like, hey, mom, can I have a double espresso? It's like, well, you shouldn't have that at 6 years old, mate. So maybe I want everyone who plays this game to look at these drinks and go, okay, I can have this. Obviously, there's people, who are lactose intolerant or might have, other ingredients that they can't actually have, which is a shame. But, there's substitutes for that, where there isn't so much a substitute aside from it being decaf for other beverages. But anyways, I digress. I'm going to have one more chicken nugget. I'm going to give you guys an ad break, if that's okay, just so that I can make a little bit of ad revenue. Thank you very much. Now, if you're still here, it means that you've got an ad blocker. And because of that, I'm going to eat. So you get some nice juicy ASMR of Nathan eating chicken nuggets. Okay. Let me know when you're all back. But Dan has YouTube Premium. Well, you're a legend, mate, because every one of your views is so much more than an average viewer. When you get like revenue from views, YouTube Premium people are like the best. But thinking about getting it, obviously not a good time right now to get it, but definitely when I have a more steady job, I'm looking at getting YouTube Premium because it is, especially for TV now, I watch YouTube a lot on TV, and it's just that thing that, yeah. Exactly. Mr. Mustachio, if it tastes good, who cares if it's a kid's drink, lol. I know. Sometimes I want a virgin pina colada. Or safe sex on the beach, okay? They taste good, they don't give me a headache, and I still have everything except for a lot of sugar in my body. I have all coherent control of my mind. Yeah, Dan, especially if you're like watching podcasts and stuff. If you're just consuming YouTube all day, every day, fair point. Like I was consuming ChatGPT for a while when I was working on the game in Unity because I was just using it to like debug so much code, and it made fun. It made fun. Oh, sorry, I was reading your comment. It made it so much better just to pay for the faster speeds, and so it's the same with YouTube. If I'm just watching that 24/7, I'm gonna pay for premium because then no ads and music as well. Awesome. I mean, that's why I'm eating chicken nuggets right now, guys, because, nuggets are fun. Nuggets are good. There's a reason kids love this stuff so much. Next time, though, I'm eating before stream because I know it's uncomfortable for you guys, but also this food's really cold now. But I've dug my grave and I have to eat it. Otherwise, that's a waste of food, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So, the last time I was working on Coco Loco, we are getting the issue that people aren't going to new tables. And I think it can be one of two things. Either way, I'm going to reset the tables so that they are here, that people can sit on them. Preview, yep, we're good. Preview, yeah, okay. Let's see if they will leave. Yeah, GG Price. I haven't had processed foods in a while. I mean, I love pastries, so I guess processed foods would count for meat pies. But even then, it's like, again, everything in moderation, really. It was this or cereal, and I felt like trying these because we just bought them recently. All right, so we've got our drinks here. Now, if I clear this table, they don't go. They don't line up. Now, why is that? Why is that, chat? Why is it that these NPCs won't line up at these empty tables? I'd love to know. So we're going to have to get out the blueprint debugger. That's odd. If I stop it. That's weird. Weird things are happening on stream today. Gigi Bryce said, I imagine Australian processed foods are less processed and fake than the American version I get. Yeah, it's funny actually. We had some Americans over the other day for dinner, family visiting other family, and they were just talking about how much they love the food here, and it makes me just forget how lucky we are. And it's genuinely luck, because Australia, we're not very good at actually doing anything right because we're kind of lazy and laid back. But how lucky we are. We have such good food. Because we're talking about watermelons and how in the States, watermelons are only texture, no taste. But here, they are taste and they are delicious. Yeah. I don't know why stuff is not working. NPC Blueprint. I'm going to close a lot of this stuff. That's what we wanted. Data flow. Why the heck wasn't that shown? Okay. What's the time? I've got an email meeting to be somewhere at around 1 or 2 o'clock, which means that's going to be annoying. Okay. Oh, high-tech wizard. Very good point. Chick-fil-A sauce makes all-American chicken nutrition start worth it. Like, if there's one thing I miss from the States, having been there, it is the Chick-fil-A sauce. There's nothing over here like it. And so, if they can get Chick-fil-A over here, we've got Taco Bell recently. Haven't tried it. It's very different from American Taco Bell, I've heard. It's because you got to Aussify it. There's certain things we Australians, things don't work. Like Starbucks, they have to do a whole different thing over here because what works over in the States doesn't work here. Oh, you're really getting some lag here while streaming, aren't we? Okay, so it says that it's empty, but they're not going, which makes me think that it might be the NPCs then. And if it's the NPCs, then we need to check the NPCs, don't we? Oh, crap. There we go. I also want to check the task behavior tree. There we go. Hello, Shapelings. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. High Tech Wizard said Chick-fil-A sauce and kangaroo. Discuss. I think we might be able to tap into a new business. Maybe. I mean, I've only had kangaroo once, and that was at a cultural event. I don't know how else to explain it. We went to an indigenous area for school, and they gave us kangaroo, crocodile, and emu. Okay. NPC on. Okay, they're not going to their next states. For some odd, you can see that one's there. That one's since, well, that one's gone now. So they're not going to the queue. Okay. The queue is not working. Not really. Kangaroos very rarely eat him. Well, it's mostly beef, chicken, lamb, pork, occasionally duck. Like kangaroo is like very. You're not gonna find much. Like not much at all. I think we're very similar in the States in terms of like chicken, cow, pig, sheep. Yeah. Okay. Look, this is going to be a headache to work through, and I'm going to have to do this another time. So what I'm going to do instead is work on some 3D models. How about that? Once this opens, I'll close Unreal. Because that's going to be lots of debugging. That's going to be boring for you all. And I do need to get these chairs in. So these are the chairs I've modeled. I feel like I need to do a round table. Actually, no, I did do a round table, didn't I? Yeah, this is the last one I was doing. Okay. Have I exported all these? Let's find out. Have these been exported or not? Looking. I think we're just going to have to export them anyways. So let's just go to... Oh. Let's go to this guy. Material preview. Oh, bless me. Okay, so it hasn't been UV unwrapped. Cool. I guess I'm going to have to do that then. Yeah, no, I haven't been unwrapped. Let's do some unwrapping them, shall we? I'm ready for chat to judge my modeling skills now. I don't know the... I know there's a... I thought I unwrapped this. Why has this not been unwrapped? There's a button on the big keyboard you can press. What if you just do medium point? No? Okay, never mind. There's a button you can press that will like reset the positioning. But I've since changed keyboards and don't know. Dan asks, on your server, there's an art section. Can I share my drawings I may do there as well? Yeah, you can, just as long as they're safe for work. Everything is fine to be shared. In the local channels that you all have access to, perfectly fine just to share your workings and your just stuff that you're doing, you know? Foreman One, welcome. Hey, Gigi Bryce, if this isn't your wheelhouse, that's fine. That means I can do my thing and you're not going to call me out on it. Yeah, Dan, it's something that initially I struggled with a lot as well. But over time, I've grown accustomed to it and I've figured things out and I like it. I remember growing up in school, you'd have the like paper dice you'd make yourself, so to have like a cutout of a flat cube and then you'd fold it all together, and that's when I was like, that's what 3D modeling is. It's just that but more advanced, and so I'm all for it. I'm all for it now. I love 3D modeling, although I'm not always very good at it either. See, having worked with YouTube mostly for the past 3 years, my skills definitely got rusty by the end. And so I'm looking to hopefully rehoning my skills. Oh, we didn't want sharp, we wanted seam. There we go, look at that. Beautiful seam. High-Tech Wizard asks, with the drastic shift in lifestyle and working, what's your personal timeline for the next big dev goal for the game? Not like a release or anything, just something manageable and rewarding. I want to get the upgrades, so stuff like the tables and stuff, implemented so that people can select what items they want in their store. I want to get partners working with the NPCs so multiple NPCs can go to a single table. And it's going to resolve all the NPC crap, because as you saw, I don't know if you saw before, but NPCs were going to the tables, but they weren't leaving the tables. And like, I've had issues with that since the very beginning. And I just want to get that out the way and make sure that no matter what, people are lining up, they're going to the table, they're taking their order, and they're leaving. I just want to get that out the way. I know it's going to keep popping up, but that's what I want. And so once I have those core aspects down, that I can basically play some levels, unlock some items, change, you know, my store around and actually feel like there's progress happening, that's where I want to be, and we can start doing play tests. And then I want to experiment with different gameplay mechanics. So things like if you run too fast, you'll drop items and they'll slip. And then if you, walk over fallen drinks and stuff, you'll also slip. That you can actually clean things up. If people don't like their order and they leave, you have to like throw the order out. Different mechanics like that I want to experiment with. And then after all of that, I'm kind of happy with the iteration of the game. I then want to really work on the story and getting cutscenes in. And then from there, it's kind of just polishing until we're done. That's the very, very basic summary of what I want to do. Well, thank you all for being here on the stream. Kind of, yeah. It starts out more like a startup in the sense of like, you just have brick walls and concrete floor. Like obviously this one isn't concrete. But yeah, it starts out very, very rundown, I guess you would say, like a growing business. And then you help to grow the business and you buy new items and stuff. Yura, yes. So I mentioned a story before last stream. Yeah, there is a story still in development. I have the bare bone structure, and I know where I want to go. It's just figuring out steps along the way. Like depending on how much work mechanically the game takes, I would love to put in some mini games as well to kind of match up with the story. For example, like you're at your apartment and then the pipes break and you got to try and fix the pipes. And you do the like the mini game from BioShock, the pipe game like that, or you got to go grocery shopping and you do like a weird like dashing collecting groceries type thing. So yeah, like elements like that where it's like I'll see how much of the story I can then turn into like mini game mechanics. Otherwise, it might just be like cute little cutscenes and dialogue. Kieran asks, if you do pull in the game, does it get more run down? No. It will just stay the same. And High Tech Wizard asks, being a solo game dev, do you still use workflows to document your dev cycles, agile dev, waterflow? Not really. Not really. I basically just do what I can. I give myself to-do lists. I give myself time frames of stuff that I want to do. But I wouldn't say I'd take myself into any of the workflow cycles of like agile dev or waterfall or goal. Like I'll set goals and deadlines to myself, and other things will come up in life that will make me postpone or do it earlier. But a lot of it is just having goals and deadlines and trying my best with the time and ability that I have to accomplish it. But I will still document things. Like recently, I was doing some weight painting, 3D modeling last night or the other night, and I was like, oh man, I keep forgetting these shortcuts. Like I'll work on it for like a day or two, and then I'll leave it for like 2 months, and I'll forget everything I learnt. And so I've now started documenting on Confluence, like common issues I've had or common things that I will use and do that like it's just a cheat sheet basically for me. So occasionally if I run into an issue, I'll be like, okay, here's how I fix the issue. This is what the issue was last time. This is how I've resolved it this time. And other times it's like, I forget that shortcut to switch from white paint to pose mode in Blender? How do I do that? And so I've written things like that out, which have really helped me. Hopefully in the future, when I go back to those things again and forget how to do them, I'll have my own documentation, you know? I feel like we watch lots of tutorials as game devs and we forget half the things we watch, even though they're super useful. And at times I've gone back going, man, what was that thing that guy said? From now on, when something like that pops up, I'm just going to write it down myself and have my own documentation for it because, yeah, it's too vital not to write down. Mr. Mustachio's learning bass guitar, man, practicing. That's a good skill to have. And Kinnan is practicing the kazoo. Good job. Cohen, I exactly agree as well. I listen to other game devs as well. Sometimes it just be for a little bit for me to kind of, you know, get worked up enough to work on it, and then I'll usually leave the videos or streams or whatever. But yeah, watching the people work is actually really helpful, I think, because then you kind of see, oh, other people. It's like, you know, why people. I can't believe I'm saying this. Why corporations want you back in the office? It's not why actually. They want to monitor you, make sure you're not wasting any time because they don't trust you. But it's like why boomers and old people like go back to the office because they're like, oh, I can feel like I can work again. Helps them be productive. No worries, high-tech wizard. Documenting is something that takes time, but... Oh, I see these are not merged properly. I have to merge them. But it's definitely something, especially as I'm working on things like this and learning new things, documenting stuff is really helpful. Even if it's just like, okay, in this one video, here's a link to the said video and the timestamps. Helps so much. Yeah. Forgot to merge these guys. That guy's merged. That guy's merged. No, I reckon this guy isn't. Dan says, I'm more of a music listener than an instrument player. Same. And Squid Beats says that's why Agile doesn't work. You need trust. For most businesses, yeah, so much of it is reliant on trust. And if you can't trust your employees and they can't trust you, then you don't have yourself a good business. That's why if I ever get to the point of running my own business, my priority is going to be for my employees. Because that's the thing, man. When you lose employees, you basically lose your business because you can't do everything. Like I'm even struggling now between finding a new job, running a Discord, and a YouTube channel. And by that, it's like there's so many different things. Like I've got members now who are asking for things, answering questions, setting up OBS. I could easily have 2-3 people working for me to make things way more improved and have them be more qualified than me. But it's just me now. And the day that I can actually have people that work for me, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that they stick around because people are vital. Like people are the resource, but in a good way. Thank you for dropping by and saying hello. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. High Tech Wizard said, interestingly, there are common office spaces that are for work from home employees to have a shared space in their area with other work from home people in other companies. But how does that work? Does it mean that they, if you're not working from home, so it's just like co-working spaces, basically, but you're not working from home. So what's the point of saying you're working from home if you're not working from home? Verbier says the barista needs a cat mascot. Maybe. We'll see what happens. We can give him a cat, maybe. Oh, a little cat that sits on the countertop, maybe. And you can put hats or bows on. That is a good idea. Maybe you can buy a pet. You can buy a pet for the store, and they'll sit in an area that isn't near the cooking stations, but that you can have a cat or a dog or a bird or rabbit or whatever they want, and then you can give them little outfits. That's a cool idea. I like that idea, chat. Thank you. That was a good idea. Mr. Mustachio, I'd love to hire you for OBS because it is a full-time gig. That's the thing I mostly did at my old job. Well, not mostly, sorry. That was one of the things I did a lot at my old job. And one of the things I was like, oh my gosh, this can easily blow into its own job. Obviously. G2 Price asks, will a cat fart? It's too soon to tell. It's too soon to tell. Yeah, Squid Beats. Japan keeps all their stuff. I don't know whether to call it Japanese propaganda, but there's this YouTuber I watch, and he'll do like day in the life of, a factory worker or a manga artist, or any number of, employee jobs, and like they all of them will like go to a trade school or university for that one job, like for mechanics, right? One of them was a mechanic for, I think it was trucks and maybe buses for Toyota. And it's like, yep, you go to the trade school, they tell you what job you need, you apply for the job, and then you work that job for the rest of your life. And for some people, that can be a bit depressing. But for others, if it's a good paying job, it provides for your family, and especially with, at least with what these videos are showing, which again, I can't tell you if it's propaganda or not, because it does sometimes feel like, Japan's such a perfect country and place where it's like, well, every country has their flaws. It's like, I forgot my point here saying, but yeah, it's interesting to see how different, but then again, there's elements to that I don't like, which is the whole, you must always respect your seniors, in the sense of like, even if they make dumb boomer business decisions, you just gotta put up with it and be like, all right, I've got to wait another 40 years before I can make decisions in the business, because that's just how it works as a hierarchy. And it isn't by experience or proof in business success. It is purely by how many years have you been there. And in a sense, that could be the same thing, but it isn't always. And, sometimes, especially as a younger person, I like to speak my mind on things. And that's important for a business, because that can really save a business's butts. And it can be even as simple as, hey, this one new policy you've introduced is going to waste so much time. Not everyone, people who know that are only the ones who are working for that role, right? Management will come down with a new rule or something, and everyone will go, well, this is just going to waste our time. And in Japan, you can't complain about it because, of whatever reason. Okay, I think that's all the chair bits done. I actually need to finish up soon, chat. Unfortunately, I have other appointments to attend to. I'll look at the results of this stream to see. For me right now, it is nearly midday. And last time we had a lot bigger turnout. I'm not sure if that's because of the time zone or if it's because of the topic. So I think the next stream will be another one of the game ideas. So send in your game ideas, please, so we can all look at them. And we'll do another one of those streams, I think, maybe. Or I'll think of another streaming idea, because obviously game dev is fun to watch, but it's very hard to stream and do this at the same time and read chat. So I'm not finishing up yet. Give it a little bit more time, but just so you all know, I feel like the seam needs to be going all the way up. Yeah. Send them to contact@nathanrona.com. If you go to my YouTube homepage, there should be a little email or something. Or if you go to About, I think there's business inquiries and my email's there. But I mean, if you see my name in the channel, Nathan Rona, add a contact and an @ before that, then you will get it. And then you can send in your pictures. If you want to do like PowerPoint presentations or videos of some sort, please do. Be fun to read some and react to some. Like, I know it's late for you guys there, but I felt like, you know, starting at like 9 or 10 meant at least you could have like the evening to watch the stream. But obviously, as it gets later in the day for me, it's getting later in the night for you. So later in the night for me is then earlier in the day for you guys, but I'm not really sure. Like, I always think people are out doing their jobs or stuff at that time. So I don't really know the best time to stream. So we'll see the results for this one. Maybe we'll do another dev one in the evening. Maybe like I'll figure out which time I want to do it. I was going to say tomorrow, but I'm like, I don't actually know. Tomorrow I need to do other things, guys, because I'm still technically unemployed. But I'm working on it, and you're assisting with that burden as well. So thank you. Yeah, Dan, don't worry. I've got the list of emails. I'm just trying to collate a bit more so that when we do a full stream, there's not just 2 ideas. So this was created from a cube, basically, Yuri, or cylinders. So like the top bit, that's just a cylinder. It's more cylinders. So that bit's a cylinder. This middle bit was a cylinder. Those bits are cylinders. And then these bits, like, I think they were cubes and then connected to a sphere, and then I cut the sphere in half. But I used a reference image for this. I think I was just looking at like fancy tables on Google Images and took a few ideas from them together and made this. All of these assets have been made from scratch here. Like, I got some other little drinks here too. These are the like hot cocoa. I want to do like fancy ones as well, like a caramel one or a dark chocolate, or like this one's an iced chocolate. I don't know if you can really see because it's cubes. But yeah, you've got little ice cubes floating in a glass with a straw, a milkshake one as well. And then I've got these keep cup ones that I'm not sure I'm going to use. I might just use as dress setting. And then I've got the sign here. It's going to say like queue up here. And then I was thinking of having like little board games areas. So I'll have like a Jenga. This is the Jenga that I made. This is meant to be a jar with stuff in it. Thank you, Squid Beats. I'm not unemployed. I'm just an entrepreneur, said every unemployed Centrelink worker. See, I'm always shocked at how Pirate Software can stream for like 12 hours straight. I'm guessing his setup's a bit different, and he's more skilled at it. This is my second proper stream in a while. But yeah. Because what I want is I want to straighten this up. But none of them are straight. There we go. Oh, that didn't really work, did it? Okay, that's just something I'm gonna have to... Yeah. See, UV unwrapping as well, and Maya is apparently a lot better than this. How many hours do I work a day? With what? My job? Yeah, 8 hours if I had a full-time job. This, I don't, like, the past little while has been a lot of driving around, finishing up where we were renting out. I had to clean that place up and do a few things, handing keys. So, like, recently I haven't worked a proper full 8 hours day, but at the same time I've been doing a lot of running around and errands and sorting out life to get everything back on track. Yuri, I don't know what my biggest strength is. Probably people might say 3D modeling is the one I'm closest to. But like, I like all of it. That's my issue. I need to pick a skill and really specialize in it. But like the things I'm definitely not good at are music. Animation, I'd say, is probably pretty low. I'm getting better at rigging now. I've been doing that during the night this week. And that goes back to Squidbeat's question of like, how many hours do I work in a day? Like, I will work all night on my game if that counts as work, just because I love doing it. Macromeza, thank you for the support. Let me just say this way, Yuri. I found a certain application in the high seas I occasionally will open to see if it's easier to do in and then go back to Blender. Blender I prefer because it's a lot more optimized, faster. I'm more familiar with most of the settings. Just occasionally there'll be a few things where I'm like, I know there's a few more easier clicks of the button in a certain other program. But, you know, I'm trying to learn how to do it all better in Blender because I know that will then keep my workflow consistent. But occasionally with things like weight painting and UV unwrapping, I'll hop into Maya and see if it works. Most of the time it doesn't, though. That's just how Maya is because, you know, even back in 2019, the versions just did not want to cooperate. See, that cylinder projection, that kind of works because then what we do is we grab that. We change the length to be like, didn't really work, did it? That's okay. Yeah, Yuri, Maya's probably the most convoluted, frustrating, complicated program I've ever used. Takes so much time to learn. Like, I learned that in university, and I remember I like ask my lecturers like, hey, can I like use Blender? And they're like, well, you know, if you do certain things in Blender and then put it into a Maya project, you know, we won't know. And I was like, all right, thank you. But I end up just, it's easier just to learn how to do it in Maya than it is to do everything in Blender and then put it over because just things as simple as scaling don't like to cooperate with you. All right, everyone, it is time for me to head off. I'm going to go back to the main camera. Thank you all for watching this stream. I actually really do appreciate you all. I know this has been a small stream before, different time zone, doing different things, but I hope you've all enjoyed it. I'm curious to see your opinions on if you want to do different things in streams. Do you want me to play some games? Do you want me to draw? I don't know. I'm trying to think of different things that we can do aside from just game development because it does take a lot of concentration and half the time I'm not paying attention to chat, which I feel really sorry about because I want to talk with you all. And that's the other thing too. Like, I'm fine with just chatting for a bit if we want to do that as well. I'd love to do, one thing I do want to do is do a cooking stream. I would love to do a cooking stream, just cooking something that's a bit more setup and time. But if that's something that, you know, you're interested in, leave a comment down below of things you want to see me stream. I would appreciate that. And I will probably do it. But yeah, that is all for today. I'm going to keep working on Coco Loco. I'm going to fix those issues that I'm going to have to debug and figure out why the heck they're not working. And then hopefully next time the game is a bit more stable state that we can actually do some cool things in it. So, yeah. Bake a cake, says Dan. Oh, I have not baked a cake ever in my life, so that might be a fun stream to do. High Tech Wizard said, let's hang and chat next time, see what's what. Okay. Barbecue stream. Oh. D does AI. Man, that's such a good idea. Barbecue stream. I like that. I like that idea. I'm going to do a barbecue stream. That's a good one. All right, everyone. Thank you all for watching. Hope you had a good time. And yeah, I guess I'll see you all in the next video. Or next live stream. Yes.